Anyways, Manuel, welcome to the podcast. Happy to have you here. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to it all week. So yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you mentioned already where you live and where you're based, before we started the recording, but just for the people, like, where are you based and where are you right now? Because you said you're jet lagged and you just traveled a bunch. And
yeah, that's right. So I am based in Dubai. So Dubai is in the United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. I've been here for about 11 years. I love it here. And I'm a little bit jet lagged still because I just came back from a 3 week trip to the US. Beautiful country. Did quite a trip there. Went to Boston. We met a few of our key clients there. Then down to New York, where we had some very interesting meetings with some interesting hedge fund guys. Then down to Washington, D.C., where we are actually headquartered. Then to Annapolis, where our CEO lives and where we had a company offsite for a week. And then a few days of fun in New Orleans, and then back to Houston and back to Dubai.
That's a lot of traveling. Is that normal for you? Or?
Well, I always used to travel a lot, but it's not normal in the last 18 months because of course, COVID. So it was a real relief to be able to leave the house and travel again. Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah, even before COVID though, like, did you have to travel that much for work, or is it kind of just you catching up on things and going places?
Yeah, I always traveled a lot. I used to be based in the UK, in London, where I was working for a JP Morgan spin-off, a tech company active in risk analytics and risk data. And I was head of Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So I traveled all over that region, every week. And then later on, when this company, I then moved to Dubai with the company to set up an office in Dubai. We were then acquired by MSCI, and at MSCI, which is a very large index analytics company, and I became the head of the Middle East and North Africa. So I traveled around the Middle East a lot, and a little bit less in the last 5 years with my current company, Securrency. I've been traveling a little bit to interesting places as well, mainly the US and Singapore. So yeah, it's part of what I do. I like it.
Nice. Yeah. Why did you decide to get into blockchain? Like, was there like a single reason why, or a point in time where you decided you wanted to work in this industry, or was it just by coincidence and happenstance, or what's the story?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a very interesting genesis story. I wasn't a dissident in Caracas, or I wasn't dealing drugs on Silk Road. I guess how I got into it. Well, I heard about blockchain, pretty much straight in the beginning in 2009. I had a very smart colleague, much smarter than me, who told me about Bitcoin, and I thought it was a very interesting concept. And even then, I believed him when he said, this is really going to change things. But unfortunately, you're busy, life got in the way, and I didn't really get into it, certainly not professionally. Then in 2016 in Abu Dhabi, which is the capital of the UAE, which is only an hour's drive from here, I met a guy who was on the Augur team, and Augur was one of the first Ethereum dApps, prediction markets. And I had an hour-long conversation with him about how Augur functions, and I was blown away. And so my first investment in blockchain became Augur. Learned a lot from it. I also saw, I saw the good and the bad as well, because I saw, look, pure decentralization, what decentralization stake is also, it makes for an imperfect user experience often. So I thought it was very fascinating, and I love the accessibility of it and the lack of intermediaries. But the user experience wasn't great. And then when they first came out in production, I thought there would be thousands of people like me partaking in this protocol, but turned out that liquidity and number of participants was actually quite low.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I was, from that moment on, I really got into blockchain, and since 2016, I've been reading, I'm reading about daily updates of what's happening in the space, probably like 2 hours a day, and I still feel like, I only cover 5% of what's going on. So it's been really very, very interesting journey, and I was looking for a chance to jump into it, to jump into it professionally, and I had the opportunity to do that in 2017 in November. When I was in Singapore, I met one of the guys that you had on your podcast earlier, Seamus Donahue of Metaco.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as Richard Olsen of Licky, and I joined these guys at Licky, which is a Swiss crypto exchange. Seamus was running the Singapore, I was running Asia out of Singapore, and I was doing the same in Dubai and running the Middle East business development for Licky in the Middle East. Now that lasted for about a year. I had to move on when Licky decided to refocus, and Seamus, by the way, is the same. We both had to move on when Licky decided to refocus on the Swiss market. And then very quickly I found, I met these guys at this event in Abu Dhabi called FinTech Abu Dhabi, where I met one of the founders of Securrency. I had a very interesting chat with him, and a month later I was working at Securrency. So I started with them October 2018. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Seamus is a cool guy. Yeah, had him on a while ago.
Really high. Yeah.
So,
and we're still friends.
Oh, good. So what do you guys do with Securrency exactly? Like, I've looked into it a little bit, but want to give you the chance to kind of explain a little bit, as the director of innovation strategy, like what kinds of things you guys are innovating, creating, like what's the mission, what's the goal?
Yeah, it is a little bit difficult to really categorize us, I guess, or pigeonhole us. So maybe it's best if I start off with saying what we are not, just to make things a bit clearer.
Mm-hmm.
So we're definitely a blockchain company, but we're not a blockchain ourselves. We didn't develop a blockchain. We don't have a token. We are often compared with, especially back in the early days, that we started in 2015. We were often compared with issuance platforms like Securities and Harbor and Polymath. But I would say we're not an issuance platform. It's just one of our capabilities that we developed. We're in the compliance space, but we're also not a KYC or AML provider. We're not a chain analysis. We're not a coin firm. We have wallet technology, but we're not Fireblocks. We're not a DigiVault. We're not a licensed custodian at all. And we are not and we don't really have one single product that is out there in the market for people to see. So what is it you guys do? Exactly. So what we are, I guess the easiest way to look at it is if you make the analogy with Linux and Red Hat. So Red Hat is this company, a very valuable company, which was sold to IBM, I believe, last year or 2 years ago. for I don't know how many billions, I think $30+ billion, I believe, where they are this kind of service layer on top of this open source software called Linux, and we are the same. So if we are a blockchain agnostic company, but we are kind of the service layer, this middleware on top of mainly public blockchains. We're big believers in public blockchains, but we can also plug in private blockchains, and we make we try to leverage the benefits of blockchains really to an audience of institutional clients, and those clients are both on the buy side, on the sell side, and also on the market infrastructure provisioning side. So in other words, we are an infrastructure company, blockchain infrastructure company, with really a large library, a large set of capabilities in the form of API-delivered microservices.
Mm-hmm.
We call these microservices the financial ontology. Ontology being the language of finance, where you can say the verbs are financial functions, and a function can be, for instance, send value, trade value, or spend value, and the nouns are, let's say, the core elements of any financial instrument. So, for instance, the base currency, or the coupon type, or the fixed leg rate, the variable leg rate, etc. So, mm-hmm. I hope that makes it a bit clearer.
Yeah, it's kind of clear, So what is the focus then? So as a blockchain, infrastructure company, what is the thing you guys focus on the most right now?
Yeah, we have, I would say, 3 areas of focus. First of all, core to everything is compliance. It is really central, and in the words of one of our clients, compliance is everything. So we built a compliance-centric framework. The main product is a hybrid on and off-chain compliance oracle. It is dynamic attributes based. So what is a dynamic attribute? It could be, for instance, where does this wallet sit on a spectrum of risk? And that could be a dynamic attribute, or is this how qualified of an investor is this client? Could be an attribute. These attributes are fed by an attestation registry, where we are getting third-party attestations from, for instance, virtual asset service providers like crypto exchanges or regulators with regard to compliance or suitability or other policies. So we take this attestation registry, we combine it with a rules engine, and with that we can program value. We can program money, whether it's money or debt or capital, with enforceable policies or rule sets. Actually, when I say program, the client doesn't need to program, because we developed an interface where it is really no code, using drop downs, and so they can easily configure these rule sets and send value out into the open world, allowing it to be used by pretty much anyone, even people with decentralized wallets like a MetaMask, but still keeping a level of distribution control, just to make sure that the tokens don't end up in the wallet of Kim Jong-un, or if they are sitting in a wallet and that wallet is later identified as a wallet that was involved in a hack, in ransomware or something, that even that token can be frozen or recalled, which is very important, because Securrency as a company, we really sit at the intersection of I would say DeFi and the institutional world, really where they overlap, and I think I think the smart players in both worlds are getting into this central piece where there's overlap, and that's where we sit. We try to facilitate the entry of institutions into DeFi, and we also want to leverage DeFi capabilities to a much larger audience than that is currently active on DeFi. So let's say not only to people who are highly versed in finance and in technology, or geeks, but also really pretty much anyone, and especially people who require access to lending, for instance, or basically access to better yields. Yeah. And who doesn't like better yields?
Yeah, exactly. We all want better yields. Most yields are pretty horrible outside crypto.
Exactly.
What do you mean exactly when you say you guys want to leverage DeFi? Like, is there like a specific use case you guys can think of that you want to be able to do? Or do you just want to be able to play around with it because it's such a big niche right now in blockchain?
Yeah, so we want to leverage DeFi. So what we mean with that is that what we like about it, of course, that DeFi bootstraps the development community, I would say. So it is very easy to innovate rapidly because you take what's already there, something that is very good. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. For instance, like a governance protocol you could take, or certain components of how to build a synthetic asset or something, and you build on top of that, and you can really with a new innovation, and you can really innovate very fast. And on the other side, you bootstrap the larger community for liquidity. So yeah, that's how I would say we leverage DeFi. And really, I think when we talk about DeFi, what we like about it, what is DeFi? Decentralized finance. What does it really mean? It is finance without all the intermediaries. So there is disintermediated finance. Now, what we call institutional DeFi, we would say it is definitely disintermediated, but there is still a central control function needed for it to be compliant, for it to be useful in the real world. So I would say less intermediaries, perhaps not zero intermediaries.
When you say compliance, are you talking about like built-in on-chain compliance, or are you talking about compliance with potential regulations or with company guidelines and things like that?
Yeah, when I talk about compliance, so definitely regulatory compliance, and that can be, for instance, in the US you have Reg D and Reg S compliance regulations, and we can make sure that, for instance, for a Reg D issuance, the token only goes to qualified investors. So that's one thing. And then you have anti-money laundering efforts. So I don't know if you've heard of the Financial Action Task Force and the travel rule and the FinCEN interpretation of that, where we actually leverage our compliance oracle for compliance with that travel rule, and basically allowing so with that, financial institutions can use our compliance oracle to share qualifications, for instance, for their client accounts without sharing the identity of the client, but still complying with the travel rule.
Yeah, what about compliance with like travel? Like, for example, like if you're traveling, let's say internationally, like you have obviously, or like I have, and you got like over $10,000 in crypto, like, I mean, however, the government chooses to look at that, like, is that like a compliance issue too for the ordinary person, or would it be also like a compliance issue for an exec in a company, or just a company in general that's doing international business? Like, are these things that kind of pop into your head as an innovator?
Yeah, so for sure. So So that's the thing, of course, about blockchain. Cash is, of course, completely anonymous, and it is very easy to, of course, escape law enforcement using cash. It's not really traceable. With blockchain, it is great, but it's also very easy to transfer large amounts of money, in an instant, and that makes it very attractive to, criminal elements. So when it comes to limits on currency, whether it's $10,000 or $1,000 in the case, well, it's either $3,000 or $1,000 in the case of the FATF travel rule, we can indeed report on any transactions, or even have the virtual asset service provider stop any transaction that breaches that threshold. So that's an easy thing that we can build into these policy recipes that we have.
Yeah, just touching on that a little bit more, like what would you consider, an actual transfer of, crypto internationally? And I get this question sometimes too, because people will have a significant amount of crypto and they're traveling internationally a lot, and they're like, do I need to declare that on that form on the plane or at customs? Like, is that even considered money? Is that even considered, something that I'm transferring, since it's all on the blockchain technically? Like, is there a way to look at that or to clarify that for people, or is that still like a huge gray area?
No, I wouldn't say you have to declare that at all when you travel. I think you only declare how much cash you have. You don't have to declare how much you have in your bank account. In the same way, you don't have to declare how much you have sitting in your MetaMask wallet. So that's not an issue. Where it comes to taxation, it's of course a different matter. So if you're trading crypto, if you're going in and out of crypto and you're booking gains, now in certain countries like the US, every time you make a gain, that's capital gains tax, right? Thankfully, I live in the UAE, where there is no capital gains tax. We don't even have income tax here.
There's
so
no capital gains tax there?
No.
What? Really? I didn't know that.
No capital gains, no income tax. Value-added tax, or you guys would call it sales tax, has only been introduced a couple of years ago, 5%.
I'm on my way to Dubai. Jesus. The capital gains taxes are going up everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Going up in Colombia, where I'm at right now. They're going up in the US, apparently. Jeez.
Okay, so you're in Colombia, the country?
Yeah. I didn't mention that probably. Yeah, I live part of the time in Medellin, Colombia. And the other part of the time I live in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay. Must be beautiful there.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's depends on the time of the year. Sometimes it's a little bit more rainier than usual, but right now I guess it's kind of more like summer months, so it's generally about the same weather cycle every day all year. So I don't know, I love it. People are nice, food's good. A lot of innovation here too in terms of software and tech and blockchain. Lots of interest for blockchain, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, here too, there is a lot of blockchain activity. We're also quite blessed with the regulators here. They are pretty forward-leaning. It's actually part of the reason why we set up office in Abu Dhabi, which is the capital of the UAE, because the Abu Dhabi global market, which is a financial free zone, and its regulator, they early on, 2 years ago, developed a digital asset. They might have called it virtual asset framework, allowing for exchanges and custodians and other virtual asset service providers to set up in the free zone, and even the federal regulator itself now is allowing. We just this week had an opening of a crypto center in one of the other free zones here. We regularly get high-profile people like Lisa from Stellar over to do talks. I have a Stellar sticker here on my computer that I got
Yes.
from one of those events. And all of these events here attract a lot of people. You know, in the UAE, the population is, you know, it's pretty much 80% expat, and most people are between the ages of 20 and 40. So there's a huge interest, and of course, people are pretty tech savvy here and mobile savvy, and are also having to send money abroad. So that's also, of course, a huge drives huge interest in crypto as well. So yeah, it is really interesting place to be. Yeah, it's quieted down a bit with COVID, but tomorrow again I'm going to a crypto roof party, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Crypto roof party in Abu Dhabi, in Dubai, or where
And
specifically?
in Dubai.
In Dubai. Yeah. Crypto rooftop party in Dubai. That's got to be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. You should come and visit.
Yeah, it's a long ways away, but yeah, I'm wanting to at some point. What's the lifestyle like there? Is it expensive, or like you see in all the pictures and videos, or is it more reasonable than people think? Or
no, it is pretty reasonable. You can, it depends on your lifestyle. You can spend every day in 5-star hotels, but you can have a very normal life here. It becomes a little bit more expensive when you have kids like I do. You have to send them to private schools, so that's not subsidized. But otherwise, I would say it's pretty reasonable. And of course, not having to pay the income tax makes a huge difference. But there's also a lot of temptation here. You know, you can rent yachts. You can go to the best restaurants. There's always everybody drives nice cars. So if you feel like you have to keep up with the Kardashians, then you're going to buy a nice car. And then very, very quickly you find out that actually you're not saving that much. But yeah, if you keep it reasonable, then lifestyle is pretty affordable.
Do you consider yourself an expat living there, or like have you gone through that process? Or
yeah, so I've been here 11 years, so I'm definitely an expat. I'm lucky. I recently got a 10-year visa. So it used to be 3-year visas. Now they're introducing 10-year visas. So that's good. Even this year they started with providing passports to people, and these people tend to be high achievers, so people with special merits, people who have been a long time in the country, innovators, academics, and they are starting to receive passports. So yeah, who knows, that might be in the work.
Yeah, is it difficult to get a visa there? Like if you want it, you've never really been there before and you want to go and potentially live there, is that a difficult process as well, or is it simple? Or
it's very easy. You can always come on a visit visa. That's very easy. And then they introduce now like a string of new initiatives to attract more talent to the country, more talent, and of course more innovative companies as well. So they're making it very easy, and you have now this remote work visa. So as long as you can prove that you earn more than X dollars, you can work from the UAE and enjoy the tax-free lifestyle, and get a remote work visa. You have freelancer visas. You can set up a company for very reasonable amounts and sponsor yourself. So it is it is very friendly to people who have skills, especially people in technology. We started the office here with 3 people. We're about 40 people now in the UAE. I think we're gonna grow that to about 100 people, maybe by mid next year. A lot of people they really see the benefit. Besides the tax and all that, I think the lifestyle. If you have young kids, it's very safe here. There's lots to do, and so it's a very attractive place. And it's always moving because of the makeup of the population. Like I said, young population, tech savvy. There's a lot of investment. There's a lot of FDI. There's a lot of investment that's driven by the sovereign wealth funds here as well. So they're actively investing now in their home base. They used to be more outward focused and invest large sums of money in the US and Europe. They are now starting to really invest in their home countries, and yeah, that's driving a lot of companies to establish here. And I'm happy to say that we also received an investment from a sovereign wealth fund here, and with that we'll be standing up new entities in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, you make it sound so tempting for me to just move my business to Abu Dhabi or Dubai or whatever it's called, the UAE, domicile there, pay no tax, and just live awesome.
Look, it's not a bad place at all. It does. I really like it. It does get pretty hot in summer, but the good thing is everywhere has great AC, and the way my wife and me do it. So we're very happy here all year round, and in the summer we escape either to Europe or to Lebanon, where she's from, and go to the mountains there and enjoy the nice temperatures. But besides those 2 months a year, July, August, maybe September, it's a very good lifestyle here.
Yeah, I've lived and spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, so I understand the heat problem. You always want to be inside, or you always need AC. So all the best stuff to do is always indoors. So I imagine maybe it's kind of similar there too, huh?
Same. It might be more humid than Las Vegas. I guess
Really?
It's very dry heat. Here, because we're next to the sea, it's a bit more humid.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Vegas is very dry. Every time I go, I'm like, Colombia is very humid. So every time I go back to Vegas, like, I can feel it immediately. Like, the moisture in the air is just gone, and it's just pure desert heat. So it's like, you got to change your whole routine just to kind of survive there, or you got to stay inside all the time. The AC just kind of like dries you out. Man, I don't know. But yeah, kind of to start wrapping it up and everything, does Securrency have like any public partnerships that you could give an example of that help explain better what it does as a use case? We've talked about it a lot from a more technical side, but at a surface level, I mean, maybe as much as possible, what kind of examples can you guys give, or are you guys still very early on?
Yeah, sure. So you might have seen that we just recently closed our Series B, and so with that we added a few new investors, but also clients to the roster, including State Street, US Bank, and Wisdom Tree, who was already a Series A investor. They topped up their investment to retain their percentage stake. So with Wisdom Tree in particular, I can give you an example what they're trying to do with digital assets and how we come in. So I guess Wisdom Tree, they disrupted mutual funds with ETFs. They're like a $60 billion, $70 billion ETF manager in New York. So they disrupted that market with just the convenience, the transparency, and the I guess the tax efficiency of ETFs vis-a-vis mutual funds. I guess they came to the conclusion that in turn the ETF business could be disrupted by blockchain, and in particular ETF like self-executing funds in the form of smart contracts. So they saw that power of smart contracts. They saw the global rails, the automated compliance and transfer agency that's possible. So transfer agency is basically a record of who owns what, and make sure that people get their dividends, etc. And they saw the potential of the distribution straight into retail. So they are well positioned. They already have, of course, all these quality assets that they can bring to the chain. They understand automated fund management very well. And of course, they are thinking to replicating also these processes on chain, making it more cost efficient, but also allowing for more rapid product development and customization. So you can think of self-executing, self-balancing funds that are as tax efficient as an ETF, but can potentially trade on a global exchange, and that global exchange really is called, it's really called the internet. I mean, it's limitless, rather than just on NASDAQ, where it's pretty much only available to a sophisticated international audience and a US audience. And also with our technology, so we bring the compliance there, the automated transfer agency, but with our technology also, they are planning to have this, have a mobile app and enter into digital payments and into payments using digital assets. So you can imagine that you have a bunch of digital assets in your wallet, and when you want to buy something, you can either sell a piece of such an asset, or you can generate an instant loan against that asset for a stable coin and then use that stable coin to make a payment. So that's also a very, very important part of their strategy and reason why they're getting into digital assets. With State Street and with US Bank, I guess with banks in general, it often starts with custody. Sometimes as a loss leader, I would say in State Street's case, also as a core business. But in any case, it's a great base to offer trading of digital assets, but also then traditional banking business such as FX and lending as well. Yeah.
I can definitely tell that you're the director of innovation strategy. I can see the passion in explaining all these different things.
Excellent. Good. I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually probably a good place to wrap it up. We've gone for a while, actually. So yeah, Manuel, thanks for taking the time to come on. Really appreciate it. Giving a whole bunch of detail, kind of explaining more about what Securrency is, life in Dubai, and the importance of air conditioning and crypto in Dubai and Dubai. I'm not even saying that right. It's cool to learn about that because I've never really gotten a good insight into what it's like there outside of what you see in like pictures and videos and stuff like that. So I think people will enjoy that. And then, all the partnerships and things you guys are working on, very exciting, and looking forward to seeing how you guys, progress.
Well, you're always welcome in Dubai. I would be more than happy to show you around and take you to crypto rooftop parties or whatever else you would like to see.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I want to see what crypto. I want to see what this crypto rooftop party is like in Dubai. That's got to be insane.
Good. Make sure. I wouldn't recommend to come in the summer, but come in October onwards, and we'll do that. And vice versa, I'd love to see Colombia, so we might meet up there. But in any case, it was it was my pleasure to be on your show, and I hope it was useful for your audience. And my email is manuel@securrency.com. If anybody wants to contact me no more, then please do so.
Oh, yeah. Also, where should people go if they want to learn more about Securrency or follow you guys? You guys have social media? Should you guys have a blog, or just where do you want people to go?
Yeah, so we have news updates and a newsletter you can sign up to on our website, which is securrency.com. So it's the word is basically currency with SE in front. And then we're active on both LinkedIn and Twitter, and we'll start a proper blog. We actually have a Medium channel, so a blog channel on Medium. We haven't been very active, but we'll be more active in future. It helps now that we have these extra funds from Series B, so we'll everybody can expect to see more of us, and we look forward to engaging more with our audience and talk about institutional DeFi.
Absolutely. man, it's been great having you on, and I look forward to, talking again with you in the near future.
Thanks so much, and all the best for the show.